Stella's in the shower. I unlocked her phone. There was a message from a pinned contact on the screen. Stella, all these years, I haven't been doing well. That guy's Stella's ex. The one I've never actually seen, but feels like he's everywhere. Even after so many years, he can just say something simple and my girlfriend drops everything, catching a late-night flight to be there for him. The water's been off in the bathroom for a while, and I'm just sitting there, gripping her phone without moving. I want to laugh, but my eyes sting too much. Then Stella comes out, her hair damp, looking composed. She takes the phone from my hand. I snap back to reality, looking at her. She sets the phone down, completely calm, then grabs a cigarette. Looked through enough? Do you really have to go? I ask with a shaky voice. Stella bites her cigarette, glancing at me. I'll be back soon. I finally smile. Stella, if you're going tonight, then we're done. She smirks like I've told her a childish joke. Her gaze lightly falls on me. Philip, don't be childish. I'm serious, Stella. Her voice softens a bit. Be good. I'll be back quick. Stella, you're my girlfriend. I push her away, losing control like a sobbing, tantrum-throwing child. But you're pausing things with me for another guy. How am I supposed to believe nothing's gonna happen when you meet him? My hysteria annoys her and she frowns. Philip, you're being so undignified. Her eyes, usually warm, turn icy cold. She puts the cigarette down. Calm down. She walks straight to the closet, changes quickly and heads out. I watch her walk out without looking back. Her steps are quick and decisive, and soon it's quiet. I stare at myself in the mirror, at the disheveled and twisted face staring back. For the last time, I tell myself, Philip, don't be stupid. On the day, I packed my bags and left Stella's. So many in our circle showed up just to watch me crash and burn. I've been crazy for Stella for years, doing all sorts of dumb things. This made me notorious. Stella's not as keen on me as she used to be, so neither are her friends. With my suitcase in tow, a rich girl from our crowd blocked my path. Philip, why not come with me? Honestly, I like your type, pretty and obedient. You pretty boys, it doesn't matter who you're with. I don't answer, just push her hand away and keep moving. She gets mad, grabs my tie, and I'm about to fall as my shoelace comes undone. She lets go, smirking. You get it, right? Without Stella, you're nothing. It gets quiet. Someone says, Philip, make sure you think this through. Walking out seems easy, but coming back's a whole other deal. If you push too far and lose Stella, don't regret it. Oh, really? I speak softly, but it makes everyone go quiet. Then listen up. I'm the one who doesn't want Stella anymore. I yank off my tie and leave with my suitcase. Philip's lost it. Huh? Nah, let him play it up. He'll be back, I bet. Remember when he made a scene about breaking up last year? I've heard nonsense like this all year. Since last year, Stella's been distant, so people naturally underestimated me. Someone recorded that drama and it went viral in a small circle. People kept hitting me up, trying to get the scoop. I just left the group chat and deleted everyone connected to Stella. On the 5th day, Stella called me. I heard about everything, Philip. It's them who wronged you. When I'm back, those girls will hear from me. After I didn't say much, her tone grew softer. I got you the latest watch. Stella. I interrupt her, we broke up. There's a light laugh on her end. Philip, take it back, you've got one chance. I chuckle softly. No need, Stella. Philip, my patience is limited. I know. So from now on, no more weddings or funerals. A couple of seconds pass, and Stella hangs up. I don't hesitate and delete her number for good. Walking away from a toxic relationship, after the initial pain, feels freeing. Even after a while, sometimes I catch news about Stella. She's got younger, attractive guys now, though they never last long. Barely a month before a fresh start. They're all handsome, every one of them. But they all share something. They play piano, pale and lean, black hair, those kind of eyes. Just like her ex who's not doing well. But that's none of my business anymore. On the 40th day, Owen, studying in Paris, set me up on a blind date. I wasn't really into it at first. But on the phone he said, Philip, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Great women are rare finds, but they're not non-existent. You gotta believe in yourself. I couldn't help but laugh. Coming from Owen, it was the most convincing. His past love affair was more devastating than mine, and it lasted a whole 7 years. During a video call, I tried on a new suit. Owen and Alan, both fashion veterans, have a sharp eye. In the end, they unanimously agreed on the custom-made suit. Trust us, in that suit you'll turn heads for everyone, not just the ladies. Looking at myself in the mirror, I was transformed. The suit was exquisite and fit like a second skin on my tall frame. Honestly, it made my heart race a bit. But back then, Stella didn't like this kind of thing. She said it was too showy. Even that night, she was undeniably wild. When I met my new date, I was surprised. Vera and Stella aren't in the same circle, but they've known each other for years. There's even gossip about them not getting along, supposedly over a man. If Stella is the rising star praised by elders in G-City, Vera is the rebellious type who drives her dad up the wall regularly. But what shocked me when we first met, the rumored wild child was more nervous than I was. Every time our eyes met, her ears turned red, and her gaze was scorched in intensity. It was surprising. I sneakily messaged our small group chat. Hey, looks like this suit is a chick magnet. Owen, bro, go for it. Alan, Philip, enjoy the new love, man. Suddenly lifted my spirits. After dropping me off, Vera texted, Philip, what do you think of me? I thought of all the rumors about her and asked, heard you've had boyfriends in the triple digits? She got a bit anxious and called me directly. Philip, you can check with Owen, his wife Lily and I go way back. She knows everything about me. So, how many have you dated? On the other end, Vera hesitated a bit before quietly saying, does it count if it was in kindergarten? That made me laugh, and afterward I gently said, Vera, let's give it a try. On my third date with Vera, I ran into Stella. It was the best spring day in G-City. Wearing a well-tailored light gray suit, I felt like a refreshing breeze through the greens. She was still in her sharp professional outfit, surrounded by admirers, looking stunning. When we met, she stopped and her gaze moved over my face, and then back up. Finally, her eyes fixed again on my face. Philip, long time no see. Any awkwardness at first vanished quickly. I nodded at her casually. Stella, it's been a while. Got plans? Yeah. She took out a cigarette, put it on her lips, and said nonchalantly, girlfriend? Yeah, we just started dating, I answered easily. Stella raised an eyebrow slightly. Go ahead then. I nodded and walked forward, not looking back. But just as we passed each other, Stella's voice came again. Philip, still holding a grudge? I didn't answer, nor did I stop walking. As the end of the path neared, I heard people around her commenting, Stella, look how he's doing it for show. Huh? Claiming he has a girlfriend just to tick you off, huh? It's funny, right? Got all dressed up, pulling the same trick from last year, right? He must have asked about you being here today, purposely bumping into you. Stella took out the cigarette, and her calm eyes gazed down the path. True, he was still quite the child, but it was nice, his putting thought into her still. She appreciated that little bit of cunning, honestly. But of course, it's moderation that makes it charming. Letting it get out of hand would trash the ending, and he'd be the one embarrassed. Calmly turning around, Stella walked forward. She was pretty sure Philip would come back to her tonight at the latest. But Philip didn't show. Midway through the party, Rose stepped out for a smoke but returned quickly. Oh my God! You won't believe what I just saw. What did you see that shocked you so bad? I saw Philip. And stumbling upon him isn't strange when Stella's here too. Stella was already slightly tipsy, a cigarette between fingers. Out of nowhere, her mind replayed her encounter with Philip earlier. He did look really good like that. But deep inside, she didn't want another woman seeing Philip this way. Rose made a face. No, he was with another woman. The room went silent for a brief moment. The cigarette between Stella's fingers jolted slightly as she lifted her gaze, calm yet dark. On the balcony, a girl was hugging Philip. They were kissing. They didn't even notice me standing there. It was as if a glass was slammed, interrupting Rose's report. Stella, Stella's previously indifferent eyes were now complex. Rose. Rose shivered slightly. Yes. Stella? Get out, Stella suddenly demanded assertively. Stella? Don't make me repeat myself. Rose zipped it, and with a pale face, left the room. Stella stubbed out her cigarette and stood up. Party's over. With that, she walked expressionlessly, taking her leave. Reaching the elevator, she paused abruptly. Call him. The assistant quickly agreed, yes, Stella. He quickly dialed Philip, but unfortunately, he'd already been blocked. Stella listened to the tone on the phone and laughed out of frustration. Fine, I guess I've spoiled him too much, she said. Stella, about last time, Philip was really wronged, the assistant said. Stella lit a cigarette lazily. Those folks have been dealt with. He's still not satisfied? You know, boys need a bit of pampering. The assistant replied, trying to read Stella's mood. Why don't you give Philip a call yourself? Stella didn't respond immediately. She just finished her cigarette, took out her phone, and handed it to the assistant. The assistant quickly dialed Philip's number. But even more unfortunately, Stella's number was blocked too. He held the phone nervously, not daring to breathe, his back drenched in sweat. Stella's expression had turned thunderous. About half a minute passed. Suddenly, she turned around and walked towards the balcony at the end of the hallway. The assistant knew nothing good was coming but had to follow. It was a deep, dark night, but the balcony was full of spring vibes. Vera, enough already. I gently nudged the person in front of me. Your lipstick is all smudged. Vera cupped my face, her full lips slightly swollen. Lipstick a mess. She smiled at me, asking me to wipe the color off the corners of her lips. But as I did, she started kissing me again. Vera. A clear male voice reached Stella's ears. It was magnetic and pleasant, once meant only for her. But now, its owner was calling another woman's name. The one from the Sterling family she couldn't stand. On a spring night, the man's tailored pants intertwined with the woman's black dress. He was like a piece of exquisite tiramisu, adorned with slightly bitter cocoa powder, being broken down and enjoyed. That feeling when something privately yours gets claimed by someone else right in front of you stirred jealousy and anger within her. Stella clenched her fingers tight, her eyes dark, her beautiful face twisted with rage. Philip, she croaked, calling his name. The kissing pair was suddenly interrupted. One looked flustered initially but quickly composed, and the other turned, boldly meeting Stella's gaze with a defiant, mocking smile. Stella, what's your problem, spying on people kissing? Vera questioned, not sparing Stella a glance, while her normally emotionless eyes were filled with turbulent shadows. Going straight up to me, she eyed the smudged lipstick on my lips, her pupils tightening. Philip, I responded calmly, my fingertips trembling unconsciously. It's hard to erase love that once filled a whole life. She once owned my entire world and heart. I thought I'd never survive without her. Yet here I was, next to another woman witnessed by her. I couldn't predict Stella's feelings. Probably it wasn't worse than the night she coldly left me behind when I was torn apart with despair. I thought I'd feel some twisted satisfaction from revenge. But I didn't. In Stella's eyes, I felt like a clown, though I never intended to use another woman to provoke or retaliate against her. But clearly, in her eyes and mind, that's exactly who I was, doing something laughably foolish. Lowering my gaze, I avoided her stare. Vera, I'm getting cold. Let's go, I suggested. Okay, Vera replied, pulling me closer as we tried to walk past Stella. But her grip on my wrist was unyielding, her fingers long and burning, almost crushing my wrist bones. I had to stop. Normally easygoing, Vera grew cold. Stella, what's your game? She asked, grabbing Stella's arm to push her away. But Stella wouldn't let go, her eyes carrying a touch of sarcasm, her voice measured. Vera, why don't you go home and learn how to please your dad? Use your time to earn more from the family business instead of relying on a measly trust fund. Stella retorted, usually not this emotionally charged or harsh. But Vera, proud and unruly, wouldn't take it lightly. Watching Vera's face darken, I grew anxious, fearing she'd stoop to violence, making things unbearable. But instead, Vera chuckled. Stella, first time you're losing. Hard to stomach. Huh? It's rare to hear you speak so much. But it's fine. Philip and I are dating now. We'll be seeing each other often, you'll adjust. Dating? Stella's gaze turned icy. Philip, tell me, what's your relationship with her? She wasn't wrong, Vera, and I had just started dating. I took a deep breath, shaking my wrist free. Stella, please let go of my hand. Stella looked at me serenely but loosened her grip. I didn't look back, softly calling to Vera. Let's go. It's getting late. Vera gently rubbed my sore wrist, feeling concerned. All right, let's go home. Stella didn't hold us back or utter another word. Vera and I quickly left her sight. Once I got in the car, I felt this indescribable exhaustion. I just leaned back against the seat and stayed silent for a long time, all the way until Vera dropped me off at my apartment building. Vera. I thought about her the whole drive and made a decision. It's hard not to like a woman like Vera. From all the time we've spent together lately, I've realized that being with her feels super comfortable and easy. But in the end, we're simply not the same kind of people. Stella's words tonight reminded me of that. If Vera were to be with me, she might as well say goodbye to any part in the Sterling's power struggles. She'd just end up as a wealthy passerby. You should listen to your elders and find a husband who truly fits your status, they say. I heard some things about Vera from Owen. The elders in the Sterling's family tried to arrange marriages for her, but she turned them all down. Her granddad was furious and even hit her over it. Marry someone of equal status? Vera chuckled. Philip, if I were that kind of woman, I wouldn't have waited this long. Like Lily, I just want to marry a man I love. Vera, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have so easily agreed to see how it goes with her. I shouldn't have given in to her kiss tonight under the influence of alcohol and night. Philip, why are you apologizing to me? Vera smiled again, but this time her smile looked defeated. If I've somehow given you this impression, then I should apologize. She lightly touched my hair. Just think it over. We can take a break, and if you still feel this way later, I'll respect your decision. Okay? Looking into her eyes, I couldn't bring myself to say anything else but nod. Okay. Her eyes still shone bright, but they were gentle. Go on, I'll watch until you're inside. After getting off the elevator, I stopped at my door and keyed in my fingerprint. Once inside, I locked the door out of habit and started changing shoes. But as I bent down, I noticed something strange. The floor lamp was lit, casting a warm glow across the room. I straightened up in shock and saw Stella sitting on my couch, holding a lit cigarette. The air was faintly smoky. I had no idea how long she'd been there. I turned to leave, but Stella spoke up. Philip, you know my patience is limited. I didn't respond and tried to unlock the door to leave. Just as I stepped out, Stella grabbed my arm, locking the door again. She pressed me against it. Philip. Her brows furrowed slightly, her eyes showing anger. Stella, I thought I was clear. The day you flew overseas for him, standing by him, we were done. I gave a self-deprecating smile, calmly meeting her gaze. Stella, you know I'm not just throwing a tantrum. I've made up my mind. Nothing happened with Peter, she said. Stella rarely explained herself. To hear it now was unusual. In the past, if she'd said a word of explanation, I would have been moved. But now it just sounded ridiculous. She was with me 3 years ago only because Peter married someone else and moved overseas, wasn't she? You don't owe me an explanation. That's your business, not mine. Philip, Stella seemed tired. She rubbed her temples, her voice turning huskier. Stop making it difficult for me, okay? I didn't know how to tell her I wasn't trying to be difficult. I just felt so tired deep down. I'm exhausted, and I need to rest. Please just leave. Come back with me. Stella, I said, frowning, pushing her away. Your friends told me that leaving was easy, but coming back would be impossible. I left, and as soon as I did, I swore never to return. Philip, I know they went too far. You were wronged, and I'll make it right for you. Stella, he smiled faintly. You don't need to make it right. I don't hate them. Their attitude only reflected how you treated me. So how will you fix this? Philip, Stella interrupted me. She looked down at me, her hands tenderly caressing my face. Engage with me. I bought this watch overseas to give to you. Let it be the token of my proposal. What do you say? She took out a sleek velvet box. The watch was encrusted with diamonds, sparkling in the light. I stared at the watch, speechless. It was my favorite brand and model. I dreamed of marrying Stella countless times. But deep inside, I knew we'd never reach that point. I know you like this brand the best. Stella's voice was low and tempting, dripping with allure. At some point, she'd moved so close our breaths mingled. Philip, come home with me. Stella's arms wrapped around my waist, kissing next to my ear. Anthony has been missing you since you left. Anthony, Stella's proud German shepherd, hard to approach. Yet we got along well. When I left Stella's villa, Anthony was beside itself, barking continuously. Who'd have thought that in the end, the only one reluctant to see me go was a dog. If you come back tonight, he'll be over the moon. Just as Stella was about to kiss me, I suddenly snapped out of it and pushed her away. Stella. I lifted my hand, wiping hard where she had just touched me. I need you to get out of my house right now, immediately. Maybe it was how terrifying I looked, with my bloodshot eyes and shaking body. Stella didn't want to push my buttons anymore. She stepped back, and her eyes were filled with a gloomy stillness. After she left, I didn't waste any time. I deleted her fingerprint and changed the lock code. As I locked the door, I slumped to the floor, finally able to breathe. But then the doorbell rang again. Vera's anxious voice called out, "Philip, are you in there?" Her voice got more urgent, and the knocking was even louder. "Philip, what's going on? What happened to you? If you don't answer, I'll kick the door down." I staggered up and opened the door. "Philip." As soon as I opened it, Vera grabbed me. "Are you okay? Philip, did that jerk hurt you?" Her eyes were red, and her voice was shakily tense. She was gripping my arm so hard it was hurting my bones a bit. "Vera." I pulled her into a tight hug. "Can you stay with me tonight, please?" Her ears were warm, surprisingly warm. When I nudged her over onto the bed, Vera couldn't even meet my eyes. When I kissed her, her lips felt cold. When our fingers intertwined, her fingers were cold too. She was as nervous as a shy schoolgirl. "Weren't you asking to see my abs?" My fingers traced her tummy, feeling firmness beneath her shirt. Vera held onto my hand, her voice hoarse. "Philip, you're not thinking straight. I can't take advantage of you. I'm totally clear-headed." "Philip." "Vera, if you're a woman, just quit stalling." I looked at her straight on, seeing the heat flare in her eyes. But too much of anything is always bad. Women seasoned in battles thrive on intensity. But Vera clearly wasn't one. And obviously she wasn't totally accepting of herself. Her eyes lost their sparkle, staying silent for a long time, spaced out. I found it funny, holding her and soothing softly. "It's this suit I'm wearing today, it's too damn sexy. Not your fault. Wanna go take a shower first?" She flipped me over onto the bed with, "Again." When it all finally ended, I don't remember. I vaguely recall my phone ringing a bunch of times too. But I was too worn out, and I fell into a deep sleep quickly. A spring afternoon, the warm sunlight was so comforting. This huge mansion was eerily quiet. Lately, the lady of the house didn't seem very happy, casting a low mood over the place. Even Anthony sulkily lay in his cage, barely moving around. Stella offered it its favorite chicken snack, but Anthony just lazily glanced and ignored it. "Miss your dad?" Stella asked, and suddenly Anthony perked up. It leapt from the cage, pacing and barking softly. "Your dad's still mad, he's not going to come see you anytime soon." She petted its smooth fur. "What do you think we should do? You think you could play peacemaker between mom and dad?" Anthony didn't catch on, just kept scratching at the woman in front, urging her to take it to the one it wanted to see. Stella lifted its paw. "Your dad's a softie, Anthony. You know what to do, right?" Anthony pondered, then flopped back down in the corner of the cage, visibly sad. Its big, round eyes drooped, and it didn't touch the food and treats in front of it. It was clearly unwell. Stella recorded a video trying to coax Anthony into eating, but it refused. Eventually, Anthony just hugged Philip's pillow, closed its eyes, whimpered, and even shed a tear. Stella sent the video to Wendy. Find a way to get Philip to see this video. Wendy, a sympathy play? Stella didn't reply. Wendy, you're pulling a sympathy play with the dog? Stella, a bit annoyed, just called her up. If I'm not wrong, Vera and Lily grew up together as inseparable friends. Wendy, distressed. Can we not bring her up? Lily took my man away, now her buddy wants to take yours. Stella let out a small laugh. What's up? Wendy, are we all just fools in this group? I tried to warn each and every one of you, but no one listened. You all have to walk the path I've been down, huh? What can I say? So am I trying not to repeat past mistakes now? Wendy sighed soft. Fine. Hope it's not too late. When I saw the video of Anthony, Vera was in the kitchen making soup for me. As Vera served the soup, I was a bit down. After 3 years with Anthony, even though I'm kind of afraid of medium-sized dogs, I've grown really attached, especially since Anthony really likes me and sticks close. Seeing it not eating and just lying around, I really felt bad. Watching anything? Vera put down the soup and walked over to ask. Anthony might be sick. I showed Vera the video. You want to go back to it? I shook my head. No. Seeing it would just hurt more. Give it a few days, it'll probably get used to it. It has to eventually, anyway. I turned the video off. Let's eat. Vera didn't say much. But after dinner, she urged me to change clothes and go out. Let's go get a kitten. But on our way to get the kitten, Vera got a call from the Sterlings. Our plans had to be put on hold. She dropped me back at the apartment, made sure to tell me to wait for her to have dinner together that night. Then she drove off. When she got to the Sterlings, she texted me. We chatted for a bit, then suddenly, nothing. That very evening, I received a call from the Sterlings. Philip, no doubt you're a talented young man. But these past few years, your issue with Stella has been all over G-City. Your reputation isn't great. Our Vera could marry someone from a less prestigious family, but the Sterlings can't accept a son-in-law with a tarnished reputation. We hope you understand our standpoint as parents. Of course, we'll compensate you. You can name your price, Philip. What about Vera? She's here with the Sterlings, just can't contact the outside for now, so don't worry. Good to know. I lowered my head, chuckling softly, but it tasted bitter. Do me a favor and tell her I've been happy these past days. And wish her well. I'll make sure to pass that on. Thank you. About the compensation, Philip. I didn't respond, just hung up. These are the consequences of my actions over the past 3 years. I've reaped what I sowed. I blame no one. The only regret, perhaps, is not stepping back with dignity when Stella's feelings faded. Why did I choose to escalate, clinging on like a moth to a flame? Now my reputation's damaged beyond repair. I brought this on myself. I sat by the window late into the night. Vera's clothes were still on the couch beside my bed. Her usual perfume lingered on my pillow. Her entrance into my life was abrupt, brief, yet it left a heavy mark on my heart. I stood up, folded her shirt neatly, and placed it in the deepest part of my closet. While packing my bags, I got a call from Stella. She was using an unfamiliar number. Philip, I'm downstairs at your apartment building. I didn't respond, just ready to hang up. Philip, if you want to know how Vera's doing, come down and see me. My fingers froze. Owen had told me Vera wasn't the obedient type. Rebellious as a teenager and never conventional as an adult. Strong-willed and opinionated, often giving the Sterlings elders a headache. This time, the Sterlings made a bold move, cutting her off from the outside. I dreaded what she'd do. Considering her personality, would she cause chaos at the Sterlings? I rushed downstairs, forgetting to change out of my loungewear. Stella sat in the back of a car, eyes slipping over my bare feet through the half-open window. So worried you forgot to change? What's happening with Vera? Philip, get in the car first. Stella opened the door, her gaze gentle as it settled on my face. You're dressed too lightly. Stella, tell me first or I won't get in. Philip, you know I can't be threatened. Anthony's still in the hospital, I'm not wasting time here. I got in the car anyway. After the engine started, Stella lowered the divider between the front and back seats. Anthony's not doing well, do you want to see him? Stella turned to look at me, but I avoided her gaze, staring out the window, lost. Philip. Stella lifted her hand, as if to smooth my messy hair, but then she let it drop. You and Vera won't work out. I suddenly laughed. So in your eyes, Stella, I'm not worthy of being loved, only toyed with, right? Vera's different. She's the Sterling's youngest, will always be under the elders and her brother's care. I'm not the same. Philip, no one dares meddle in my affairs. Who I want to be with, who I like, who I want to marry, no one can interfere. So, come back to me. Cut ties with Vera. Tell her yourself you'll marry me. And her hopes, give her a lifeline. I stared dumbfounded at her. A lifeline? Yes, a lifeline. Stella sat calmly with a faint smile. She went too far, accidentally hurt her eldest brother. Her grandfather was furious, brought out the family discipline. You know her temperament, beaten till bruised, yet still demanding to find you. Philip, if Vera insists on being with you, there's only one road, totally severing ties with the Sterlings. But a young lady, who relies on her family's protection to live comfortably, without the Sterlings, she'll be miserable. And when her interest in you fades, she'll only resent you, blame you for ruining her, for cutting off her route to wealth. Philip, you'll be a pair of resentful partners, you won't be happy. Stella looked at me. You understand what I'm saying, don't you? Of course I understand. That's why when the Sterlings called, I didn't argue. It's not worth it. Vera abandoning status for a Philip. Totally not worth it. Now let's go see Anthony. Hasn't eaten or drank for 2 days. Stella's tone softened. When we finish seeing Anthony, and it starts eating again, I'll go with you to the Sterlings one more time. Vera's quite badly hurt, but she refuses to let the doctor treat her wounds. If this drags on, the wounds could get infected and inflamed, and that'd be a real problem. I clenched my fingers tightly, taking quite a while before I whispered, okay. The car stopped outside the pet hospital, and I dazedly followed Stella out of the vehicle. Anthony spotted me from a distance and whimpered as he tried to rush over. I hurried over, knelt down, and hugged him. Anthony obediently nestled his head in my arms. He seemed quite aggrieved, continually questioning why I hadn't come to visit him. I managed to get him to eat a little, and seeing his spirits slowly lift, I finally felt at ease. On the way to the Sterlings, I didn't say a word. The night was really dark, and even the stars seemed to have disappeared. A big rain seemed to be on its way. The servants at the Sterlings said Vera was already running a slight fever, but she refused to see a doctor, leaving everyone at a loss for what to do. The building she was staying in was a complete mess. Servants were cleaning up the shattered decor in the downstairs living room. Grandpa had another heart attack and was back in the hospital. The eldest master of the Sterlings had a wound on his forehead, just back from the hospital after getting stitches. Vera's dad was furious, while her mom had cried several times. The whole of the Sterlings was in utter chaos. Philip, let's go upstairs, Stella said, taking my hand. I tried to pull away, but she held tighter. Don't give anything away. Otherwise, Vera won't believe what you're saying. Before going in, Stella took out an expensive watch and put it on my wrist. Then, holding my arm, she led me into Vera's room. Vera's injuries were on her back, so she could only lie awkwardly on her stomach. Upon hearing us, she opened her eyes with great effort. But in a flash, the fleeting brightness in her eyes vanished. I mechanically began speaking like some emotionless script reading tool. Vera, stop being silly. It's not worth it. Stella has proposed to me. We've made up. I stiffly raised the wrist with the watch to show her. Don't fight with your parents. Listen to them, they're looking out for you. Philip was just sulking with me. As you can see, we're back together. Stop being stubborn and take care of yourself. Stella finished speaking and then called the servant in. Bring the doctor up to treat the 4th Mrs. Wounds. The servant quickly brought the doctor and nurse upstairs. From when Stella and I entered the room until now, Vera hadn't said a word. Until finally, as Stella was pulling me to leave, Vera suddenly called my name. Philip. My feet felt like they were nailed to the spot, unable to move. But I didn't dare look back, afraid she'd see my tear-streaked face. Couldn't make it back tonight. Did you eat? I instinctively shook my head, then frantically nodded. Don't skip meals. It's bad for your health. She struggled to finish, seeming to tug at her injury, causing her breath to catch painfully. I held back, scared to break down in front of her, and hurriedly opened the door, briskly walking out. Stella caught up to me quickly. Philip. I shook off her hand. Stella, I want to be alone for a bit. I'll get you home. But I don't want to be with you. I forcefully took off the watch and tossed it to her. Stella, don't come looking for me anymore. Philip, as you wish. I don't love you anymore. Philip. Stella grabbed my shoulder, her brows tightly knitted, her eyes flashing with no longer contained anger. You don't love me? Do you love Vera? How long have you even known each other? We've been together for so long. Philip, you've been with me for 3 years. No one in the whole city of G doesn't know you're my man. No one dares to want Stella's man. Philip, go ahead and try. Looking at the way she was now, I couldn't help but laugh. Stella, you think I care about any of that? So what if I spend the rest of my life alone? Is that so scary? Go back to you? So I can keep reliving that shame and embarrassment of being pushed away in the middle of the night? Forever anxious, fearing being abandoned again? Stella, I used to love you a lot, but you only make a fool of yourself once. After speaking, I pushed her hand away and turned to leave. Philip, do you really want to keep pushing?
Yeah, I do.
Stella said nothing more, just stood there in the darkness, watching Philip's stubborn and resolute departure. His figure remained tall and slender, yet somehow it exuded newfound resolve as well. At that moment, Stella fully understood. She had lost Philip forever. The man she thought she no longer loved. The man she thought she could let go of so easily. If she could turn back time, she'd never do such a thing. Just like Wendy once drunkenly said, actually, in a relationship, the one who loves the most holds the most power. Because as long as he's fully dedicated to loving you, you're his focus, his weakness, his everything. And one day when he takes that love back, you'll wake up to the fact that when he no longer loves you, you ain't nothing, not worth a thing, just a pathetic fool with no money. For the rest of this long life, because she once had the most intense love, no one could ever replace him. Stella really wanted to catch up to him, grab him and hold him down, but she knew clearly, Philip just didn't love her anymore, because she had seen the way he looked at her, full of love countless times. So she knew better than anyone how he looked when he no longer cared. Stella gave a self-mocking smile, turned around, and walked towards her car. Han had a wandering woman impossible to desire. The night was deep and dense, like ink that wouldn't fade. Rain suddenly fell, silently yet overwhelmingly. My whole world seemed to sink into an endless rain. Until much later, far away in City H, I was staying up late, working overtime on drawings. Suddenly, I heard the doorbell ring. That endless rain stopped just like that. I walked to the door, hair messy, in loose pajamas. My neck was killing me. I rubbed it, grumbling under my breath. Who'd be crazy enough to show up at this hour? The landlord had just warned me a few days ago. Said an old lady upstairs often went around ringing doorbells late at night. A single guy opened up once, and she almost wouldn't leave. The doorbell kept ringing. I peeked through the peephole. I saw Vera's face. She was smiling outside, carefree and rebellious as ever. Same cocky look that made you want to punch her. But I was frozen. I don't know how long it was before I sluggishly opened the door. Philip. Vera put down her luggage and opened her arms to me. Vera, what are you doing here? My mind went blank, couldn't think. I felt like I was in a dream. Was it from all the late nights of overtime these past 2 weeks? Otherwise, why would Vera be here in City H? Decided to come, so I came. Philip, you gonna let me in or what? I haven't eaten all day. How could you go all day without eating? Vera shrugged it off. No money, cards are frozen. Even the trip here was funded by Lily. Philip, looks like you gotta take care of me for a while. Vera pulled that little pouty cat eye trick again, looking all pitiful at me. My eyes felt warm. I won't eat much. I'll try to find a job quick. You won't have to support me for long. Vera. I hugged her tight. You can eat more, it's fine. Eat more. Get healthy faster so you can make some money, you know? Places here are expensive. No house, no wedding bells. Vera said nothing, just stood on tiptoe, cradled my face, and kissed me deeply. Come on in. The door's still open, Vera, you gotta hold your horses. Why hold my horses? Vera kept kissing me, saying, you never let a rookie driver hit the road, of course she's anxious. You give a girl her first taste, then make her eat vegetarian? Cruel, Philip. Vera kissed me again for a while, her fill for now. 20 minutes later, wet kisses rained down again. This long night, never lonely again.